Well, whoops.
Well, Nazamil.
That's not the pause button that I was looking for. Yeah, let's do this. That used to
be
pull
in
a
a
bunch of
good
CP. Don't you dare!
Thanked by someone.
Wait, do I need to take these guys out for that quest? Okie doke, enjoy the lurk there. Also, just pretty the DLC of this game of Volron's past, the main character just being Volron, no one else. That would have been an interesting approach to take if there was like a prequel as like you play as Volron or something. But yeah, whoa. Yeah, maybe it'll be something along that sense. Here, just do this. Predicted stuff. I mean, I don't know if the Nintendo ninjas care about a non-Nintendo game, but who knows, maybe they do, knowing how stingy Nintendo gets. But it could just be, like, just about Nintendo's intellectual properties. Okay, can I just, like... Come on. Did I get the cooler one? I did, yes. Awesome. Screw this guy in particular, I guess. Yeah. Tales of Arise would not be Nintendo. This guy isn't dead? Wow, he was one hit. Two of them were one hit. Okay, I'm just gonna stop this guy. Screw that. There we go. Oh, we didn't get a final break. But yeah.
That takes care of
Yeah.
the Zoogles.
That was something that I really liked and appreciated about the story of Tales of Arise, was that Volron was basically like, hey, here's a version that went down a dark path, you know, like a quite literal counterpart to oneself. Like, you want to see a really bad storytelling case of a story doing that? Look at something like Lightyear. Something. Can I think of any other examples? I'm sure there are some other, like, really bad storytelling examples of trying to make parallels between the two and other versions. The way that Tales of Arise did it was, like, pretty cool. I feel like it would have been better if we did get to see, like, more of Volron's past and, like, his decisions and stuff. And maybe that's something that we'll see here. I'm taking your egg. Is the case. But yeah.
Hey.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Kept you waiting, We defeated the Zoogles on the highway. Thanks so much, dear. Now I can get back to cultivating the farmland. Wait, farmland? Seems to be plenty already. Ah, lately Vicente has been running a little short on food. Really? Honestly, hadn't realized. Of course you didn't realize, dear. He only came out in the open recently. Vicente's been giving food aid to other lands, right? After all, we have more surplus than other nations. The thing is, we've given too much. It started to impact our domestic food stores. But that's no reason to withdraw our support now, is it? Wow. Try telling that to so many places nowadays that would still rather just not. That's why we're forging ahead with cultivating farmland at the Department for Welfare's behest. The Reddins are working hard, but we still need a few more people. See, I have to keep an eye on Vicente's food stores and do whatever it takes to maintain them.
Well,
So what's all the stuff with muscles and tests you were talking about? We'll need more workers for the new farmland, you see. So I wanted to see if you were fit for the job. I apologize if I was rude. Being a farmer takes more muscles than you think. Yeah, I know that. I'm living here in the city. And, you know, I have a very, you know, small experience compared to anyone that's actually living on a farm. But, you know, even just doing something like starting a big plot of potatoes. I know. It's some major physical work. You know, that's like a day of work right there when you're harvesting, for example. I finally get it. The muscles and tests were for a good reason. I must say, both you and Kisara were much better candidates than I expected. What do you think about becoming farmers? It's a very rewarding job, you know. Appreciate the vote of confidence, but we have our own work to do. So, count on us to lend a hand when we can. Sure, I'll help too when our job's done. I can't do any heavy lifting, but the astral arts are to me. But leave the astral arts to me. Nowadays, my plant projects and my farm and stuff is in Hascap plants. I currently have a total of 30 Hascap plants. Many of which I'm going to be giving away in the spring, because I cannot use 30 Hascap plants. And I also ordered 4 more of a couple different kinds that'll be shipped to me in the spring. Yeah, I have 30 big ones that are planted outside, and I have 27 sprouts. I think. I might need to retotal them, but I'm fairly certain it was 27 is the case that I grew from seed. So 3 that I bought as like plants that were grown from cuttings, and 27 that I got from seed. Maybe it was 26. Hold on, no. I have 19 at work. I have 6 like ones that I've had for a while at home, so it's 25. And then 2 more recent sprouts that only just recently started. So yeah, 27, and then the 3 outside. Yeah, that's 30. I do indeed have 30 Hascat plants. Sure, I'll help when our job's done. Leave that to me. I've read a few books on agriculture as well. I may be of some help on the knowledge front.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll try recruiting some able bodies from Menancia so we can tackle this problem together. Goodness, what a wonderful idea. Wish you had one here. If you want, when I come to New Orleans, I can bring some seeds. It might be too warm there for it, but, you know, can always try it. I mean, Hascat plant hardiness zone range. Just don't tell border security. Let's see here. How far south can Hascat be grown? Let's control F for zone. Let's see here. Common in zone 1 and 2. Became increasingly hard to find as I traveled south. Zone 3 and 4, they were much less common. But in zones 5 and 6, they were quite rare. BC is the only Canadian province where they've never been found. Like, what? Semi-naturally? But they're not even native to here. What? What is Louisiana hardiness zone? What was that again? Wasn't it? Yeah. It was like 8 and 9. Super warm there. Which means I don't think that they would go dormant for winter in Louisiana. The case. Because it'd be too warm. They'd always think that's summer. And I'm fairly certain they need the winter dormancy as like part of their regular cycle. So they might not be able to. Breeding for the south. Perhaps with breeders' efforts or trying different cultural practices, plants can be adapted to grow a zone or two further from its natural range. I don't know whether it could or not, because it very much relies on like winter dormancy as part of its regular cycle, and I don't think it would have that there. It's the case. Now, I haven't started planting any of that. I'll start like sometime in December or January, most likely, so that they get to like be like decently sized plants and ready to go into the ground proper, like when springtime starts. My thought process there. I did recently start some tomato seeds like 2 days ago. Of like the super crazy tomato plant that was in my almost backyard. Just because there was a thing that I wanted to plant anyway in this one pot that was a little bit too big for just the one thing. So I was like, oh, I'll plant some of the tomato seeds in there. And I planted 6 tomato seeds of that one crazy tomato. And then I lost my bag of tomato seeds and I don't know where it went. Like, it just kind of vanished. So there's a missing bag of tomato seeds around here somewhere. And I don't know where it is. But if I need more tomato seeds of that one kind, we still have more of those types of tomatoes around here. I know my Oma harvested a bunch of seeds as well and still has a bunch of tomatoes at her place too. So, you know, I can always get more seeds of that kind if I really need it. But I am very perplexed about where that bag of tomato seeds is. It was in my pocket and then it was just kind of gone. Like, I had it in my pocket along with a bag of mullein seeds. And I had the mullein seeds still, but the tomato seeds vanished. I still have the tomato seeds of the Louisiana Creole tomatoes and the Germany cherry tomatoes that I got from Finn. But the tomato seeds that I, you know, got myself from the tomatoes here, they just vanished. And I don't know where. Like, that's the one that is really not the biggest deal on because I can get more of those seeds, like, very easily. But it's so weird. How do I lose something like that? So I'm just perplexed about that now. Yeah. Like, there's still literally a whole bunch of tomatoes upstairs of that from that same plant that I can just seed if I want. Like, I can literally get more seeds out of that if I want. Yeah, that's what I thought, and I checked everywhere that it could have fallen, and it wasn't on the ground anywhere, and I'm just so confused. I was hauling all my Fargo stuff to my dad's truck to haul it over to my cousin's place to have all my truck stuff, you know, at my truck for the winter since it's being stored at my cousin's place. So it is possible that it fell out of my pocket like while I was outside, in which case something that light, because they're only in baggies this big. This is the size of the baggie that I kept the tomato seeds in. It could have just blown away in the wind. So, you know, some person might randomly find a bag of tomato seeds. Something like that down the line. That I literally labeled as crazy tomato because the plant went crazy. So that's why I dubbed it. While it fall out of your pocket before you lost it forever. Jeez, yeah, that's not a super great thing to lose there. Put our heads and hands together, I'm sure we'll make a magnificent brawny farm. Can farms even be brawny?
What a pain.
Can't really imagine, but I bet it'd make for an interesting harvest. Here we go, so some stuff gets reconstructed here. Some such.
That farmer put her faith in us, so we have to resolve Menancia's food problems as fast as we can.
I'll up my training regimen to make sure we don't let her down. What do you say, Rinwell? You up for a workout?
One of the seeds I'm trying to grow
No need
is
to
apple
be shy.
seeds.
Come on,
Put that apple
we'll
tree
start
there.
off light with 100 push-ups.
That's your definition
I got
of
this
light?
really cool set of apples that my almost neighbor gave to me because she thought I'd really like them, and I did. There were these apples that were red on the outside and red on the inside. Like, the flesh itself was red. And she had no idea what species it was. And I tried looking it up, and I couldn't narrow it down because apparently there's actually a lot of different types of apple that are red on the outside and inside. But yeah. She gave me these, she gave me some green apples as well. I forget what they were called. Prairie something or other was the name of the green apples. She had no idea what the name of the red apples was. But they were really funky. They were really tasty. And I'm going to try and grow them. They're currently still cold stratifying in my fridge. So I've yet to, you know. They're in a pot now. As of a few days ago, all my seeds were in a damp paper towel. To, you know, be convinced that it's winter in a slightly damp soil-like medium in this paper towel in the fridge. But then I realized that, you know, having a slightly damp paper towel makes it really easy to become susceptible to mold. And I was like, oh. So a few days ago, I took all my seeds out, I cleaned them up really good, and I put them in actual pots in soil. And then I put them back in the fridge so they can keep on cold stratifying because they're not ready to be taken out yet. And I did this all outside because outside is basically the temperature of the fridge right now as it's getting colder. So, like, I didn't halt. You know, the stratification process is what I figured, like, keep them in that cool environment. And I did definitely lose a couple of the seeds to the mold. Like, one of those red apple seeds, for example. You know, I picked it up in my hand and it was just like mush. You know, there was no hard outer layer anymore. It was just destroyed. Like the mold destroyed it there. But I salvaged what I could of my other seeds and I got them in pots. And now they're cold stratifying in some slightly damp soil in my fridge. And I have a literal notepad on my phone that lists, like, what month I should be taking out each of these seeds based on how long the internet said they should stratify for. And I'll be taking out these pots, like, based on the amount of time. So I have, like, little pots of these red apple seeds. I have little pots of the green apple seeds and stuff. And, yeah. I already have strawberry plants, is the case. I didn't get a lot of strawberries from them this year because I stole them from my cousin's garden and they might have already... they might have already had their strawberries for the year. I got, like, 2 off of them. And they're still getting new growth. It's the middle of November, and they're still getting new growth. Apparently, strawberries will just, like, not stop growing until they actually get snowed on. It's ridiculous. So, you know, and the fact that they grew, you know, on my cousin's garden there, which has been abandoned for, you know, a couple of years, means that they've basically taken over that garden space and are competing with, like, all the weeds. So they've needed to adapt to become, like, insanely weed-like strawberries. So, you know, I literally have a hanging pot full of strawberries, and those things are tough as nails. You know, it's insane. So, only a couple strawberries this year, because I only, you know, established them this year. But next year, after all the growth they did this year, maybe I'll get a lot of strawberries next year. We'll see. Also, earlier this year, those strawberry plants had, like, some runners, some shoots that were coming out of the pots, and out of the hanging pot there. And I was like, oh, this is just more strawberry plants. So, like, there was 3 different runners that came out of the pot and were looking for the soil somewhere. I looped 2 back into the pot to just make, like, the bushiest, like, strawberry plant in this hanging pot as I could do. And the last one, the 3rd one, I cut it off and I tried to plant it around, like, my hascaps to think that I could have, like, here's a berry bush of hascaps around here, and then along the ground is strawberries. But unfortunately, after I separated those strawberry runners from the parent plant, they didn't survive, sadly. You know, they were in a hanging pot, so these runners were just floating in the air. They didn't actually develop any roots. They had these little buds on the bottom that looked like they developed roots, And you know, I put them in the ground hoping that they would, but they didn't on their own. So, you know, maybe I would need to just like prop up like a glass of water on like a stand or something like that by these hanging runners to get them to develop roots, and then when they've developed roots, maybe then I can cut them off from the parent plant. Maybe? Because yeah, my strawberry plants that I tried to plant near the Haskaps didn't take all that well. But if I get any more runners, or if it seems like a bit too many strawberries are in that hanging pot, or even if I just want to put them in the ground for fun rather than in the hanging pot, then I might plant them around my Haskaps, and then you have these two really delicious berry types, you know, in the same area. Here's all your Haskaps, and along the ground is your strawberries. I think that'd be really delicious. You know, I think that'd be awesome. Strawberry and Haskap pancakes, they probably would go good together if I had to guess. That probably would actually be really delicious. I made a Haskap rhubarb crumble to take to my like friends potluck
tonight, right?
My group of friends I grew up with. There was a potluck going on, and I wanted to bring like a Haskap rhubarb cake. And it didn't go all that great, and it turned into a crumble.
What? Something wrong?
They assured me that it still tasted good.
They sound quite excited about something.
From what I've heard,
The flour that I used was like this whole grain stuff though.
Wedding ceremony from last year.
Yeah.
I realized later I
It's a
should have just used
traditional
regular
wedding
flour.
ceremony.
When I started
But ever
pouring
since
out this
they
stuff,
got
not realizing it
married,
was
that
any
was
different, and I was like,
super
well, I
popular.
started doing
Even
this
among
kind of
wedding
flour.
couples.
That's the kind of flour I should commit to, and
The
it
whole
came out
thing was just so
almost
lovely.
oatmeal-y.
It was my first time
It was
attending a
odd.
wedding, but
And I
can
feel like
definitely
the
see
people
the
that
appeal.
told me that they liked it might have just been
Yeah.
trying to be nice.
Oh, and all the food they served was
I don't know.
delicious too.
I know.
But yeah.
There was so much
Haskap and
food,
rhubarb was pretty
everything they served
tasty
was
together though,
carefully
because
chosen.
there's like the
And you could
tartness of
taste
both,
the care put
and
into
then also the
every
sweetness
bite.
of Haskap.
And the flowers.
That went
The
really well
arrangement they
together.
chose
I mean,
for
also the
Kagari's
sweetness of the
bouquet was
bazillion bits
perfect
of
fit
sugar
for
that
her.
were in it.
Also, during the
No.
banquet after the ceremony,
That was pretty
Kagari
tasty.
and Notio were telling me the whole
Haskap's making
story
really good
about how they
desserts.
found their new house. They
It's
said
really
it was
cool
okay
growing
if
something
it was
unique there.
simple and
A lot of the time I
bare
bring up
bones. They
Haskaps,
just
like
wanted a
whenever I
warm
mention
place
like
where they
stuff
could
that I'm
spend
growing,
their days
and you know,
together.
probably over
I
half
want
the
that
time people
too.
will ask me like, what the heck are
A joyous
Haskaps?
ceremony for a loving
Like, they're a
couple starting
super
a new
delicious
life
berry that
together.
are insanely cold hardy.
I guess dreams
You know?
really can come true.
Yeah, rhubarb.
It was a
So,
perfect
like with a
day.
B at the end again there.
Sounds like
Yeah.
someone may have been taking
Yeah, very
notes.
unique taste there.
No, it's not like that. Anyway, Kisara,
Kind of like strawberries. Rhubarb's
Me?
kind of like a weed as well.
Hmm.
Yeah, that thing planted. You're
Well,
not getting rid of
I
it.
don't think marriage is the most
It,
important thing in
It
life.
goes kind of crazy.
That said,
I
I'll
love rhubarb.
admit
Rhubarb's
having a
really
wedding
good.
ceremony does seem nice.
Really?
Yo. It
That
is
sounds like you
traditionally
both feel the
used
same
in
way
like
then.
baking and desserts
Oh,
a whole
speaking
lot
of
more
which,
than just raw.
Kisara, do you
You
remember
know,
what
mixing
you
in a
said
whole
at
lot of
Kagari
sugar.
and Notio's ceremony about the
And then you
bouquet
don't
toss?
deal with as much
You mean
tartness
how
there.
if you can't catch a bouquet,
But,
you'll end up always
You
being
know,
single
it is
and
still safe to
alone?
eat raw as well.
Yeah, I'm
And I
sorry
still think
about
that's
that.
kind of tasty to eat raw
As
as
it
well.
turns out, that isn't true at all.
It's
What?
like,
It isn't?
it's kind of like
Apparently
Haskaps
not.
in the sense that it's like a
I
mix
actually
of
just found out
sweet and
recently
tart.
myself.
Like, Haskaps
I'm
are a
really
lot more
sorry.
sweet than
I
tart
shouldn't have
compared to
mentioned
rhubarb.
it without checking first.
This is
That rhubarb's
quite
great.
an interesting conversation.
And yeah, strawberries
More ways
definitely
than
can.
one.
Like they have in my
Seriously?
cousin's garden.
Who cares about weddings
Hence
and
why
all
I was
that
able
kind
to
of
go
stuff?
yoink some.
Let's go already. I'm starving.
They don't even harvest any of the
If we
strawberries
must.
in them.
Personally, I feel it's
Their
rather
garden, because
boorish of you to
They
spoil
let
the
everything get
fun.
so dang overgrown
Hey,
with weeds.
you guys
The only way you
talking
could get
about
in there to
weddings?
get strawberries is
these
if
are
you
your family
navigate through
back.
like the
Yeah,
rainforest of
it turns
spiky
out weddings
weeds that are like
all the
yay
rage
high.
these days.
It's not really
I've heard
worth
the
getting
same.
needled all
There is
over
no
your body
denying
far.
that Notio and Kagari's
So I had to pull up a
ceremony
lot
was
of weeds to make my
delightful
way to the
occasion,
strawberries that I
filled with
put in my
warmth
hanging
and
pot.
understanding.
That's for sure.
But, you know, my
Even
strawberry
after
plants
the
seem pretty
ceremony
happy.
was over,
For Alpha and Shio are
Shion
confirmed
just kept
married in this?
going
Oh,
on and
interesting.
on about
Art
how
that showed in
nice
the
it had
credits
been.
was the two having a wedding with the flowers
I
and
don't know
everything.
about that.
Really?
And yet there's still
I
the
guess I
odd
never
romantic tension in
realized.
this.
Law must be misremembering, that's all. Anyway, I've got a dinner to make.
Seems like it's a bit of a touchy subject
Hoodle
for
even
her.
tilts the head.
It would probably be best not
This
to press
came to
her
me
on it.
suddenly, like a vision.
What is it, Alphen? Is something the matter?
No, sorry, I'm just realizing that there's so much I don't know.
Don't
I
we
had no
all?
idea that weddings were popular, and Shion was so interested in them. Any of it.
Don't let it get to you. Paying
Even
attention
though
to
apparently
such
they are
things is
canonically
simply not
married?
in your
Probably,
nature.
it sounds like?
Damn, Dohalim.
Yeah, seize the
Are you
future.
trying to cheer the poor guy up or rub salt in the wound?
Yeah.
No, it's fine, Law.
This is
Dohalim
like
is
2
right.
years after the events of the main game.
Still, it's something I need to
Unless
work
that
on.
one scene
Otherwise,
specifically
it
took
could get
place
me into
after the
real
2-year
trouble
mark
in
or
the
something.
future. Maybe someday I'll find someone I want to marry.
If that was like a
My bride is
post-credits
someone who
thing,
cares deeply
then
about the
that
wedding
has to be
ceremony,
sometime after this
then that
canonically.
means it should be important to me, too.
No.
I don't want to use my own ignorance as an excuse to make my bride-to-be do all the planning. That would be a huge burden for one person to carry, right?
That may be the case, but I'm still not sure what you're getting at.
I just think that it's important to know about weddings. Not only weddings,
Yeah, that would
but
make sense then.
marriage in general. I need to learn more about them so I can be prepared. I want to do some research and fill in the gaps in my knowledge. That way I'll have the confidence to help out and make informed decisions when the time comes. But I've never done something like this before. I have no idea where to even begin. So...
You're saying you want us to help you out? You got it. To be honest,
You know, day ever comes that I meet a special someone, I honestly don't
Thanks, Law.
think that I
Oh,
could see
speaking of which,
myself
you should
caring all that
definitely
much
make sure to
about
ask
like,
Shion
a
for help.
wedding. It
There's
just seems
probably
like a
nothing about
massive
nuptials
money
that
sink
she
for,
doesn't know.
No,
for what?
sorry, but I...
Just to feel
wanna
better about
keep
the
this a
union?
secret from her. Because, I'm doing
Not
this
really
for my
something
own
that I care
benefit.
about.
So I want to do as much
But
of it as
that's me.
possible on my own, without being a burden on anyone else. I realize I'm asking for some assistance
Yeah,
from
idea how
all of you guys.
expensive those
But
things
I
get.
don't want to bother Shion with this. If I did, then I'd end up relying on her too much. I really want to avoid that.
Rather take
So,
that money
I
that
want
would
to do
otherwise
this
go into
research,
that and
but
just
I
spend it
also
on
want to
doing
keep Shion
fun
from
things
finding out
together.
about it. Can you help me?
Whoa,
that's my
that
view.
was a whole lot of words.
But yeah.
But I
Um,
think I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
You
the
could've
little
just
cousins
said
that
you
you met
don't
at
wanna cause trouble
Fragapalooza,
by
their
not doing
backyard
anything,
is like
because you
half
finally
full of
decided you
strawberry
wanna marry
plants.
Shion.
Just because like that
You
was
need
their
to work on
grandparents'
your
old
filter
place,
law. You
and
don't have to say every
they used to
thought
have
that
like
pops
a
into your
little
head.
squared off
You're a
area
little
with
kid,
strawberry
are
plants.
you?
But that garden's been like long abandoned for years now. It's become completely overgrown with weeds. It's not used for anything. And the strawberry plants, because they
At any
propagate with like runners and
I think I
suckers,
speak
have
for all
taken
of us
over
when
like
I say
half
we
the
are
garden space.
sympathetic to your cause.
You just can't go
We shall
there and
assist in your research
you
and
can't
keep
go
to
there and
ourselves.
harvest the strawberries
You
easily
should go
because you're
about this
surrounded
endeavor
with
in
like
your own way.
over waist high
If you do not
spiky
wish to
weeds.
involve
You have to
Shion
let
at
your
this
whole
time,
body get,
then so be
you know,
it.
spiked
But
and
be
prickled
mindful
if you want to
that
get to
should
any
you find out,
strawberries.
You'll likely need to explain all
So
of
I
this
had to
to her.
hack and slash my
pursuit
way
of
through,
knowledge is a noble
like
one.
somebody trekking
rooting
through a
for you,
jungle in
Alpha.
an adventure movie with a machete that's like, wah,
I'm
wah,
gonna take
getting
advantage of
through.
this
This is what I
opportunity to
felt
gather
like
as much
to get to some
info as I
strawberry
can.
plants. I dug them up and I took them home. I'm fairly certain I originally harvested like 3 plants that went into that that hanging pot. I think there's 7 in there now. They really know how to spread. So, you know, it is possible that next year, like, again, I only got like a couple strawberries this year. They might have already gone through most of their strawberries for the year. And they didn't even get like a whole lot of sun there because they were surrounded by all these spiky weeds. They weren't in exactly the best place. But now in that hanging pot, you know, strawberries do really good in pots, actually. You know, I can't wait for next year to see how many strawberries I get. You know, so, you know, that's cool. Another interesting fruit that I'm trying to grow right now, I'm trying to grow a pineapple right now. Shion's Diary. You can access Shion's Diary from the library in the menu. Her diary will grow longer as you progress through EX quests. Okay, Shion's Diary has been added. Yeah, that wasn't in this menu. Where was that? Here. Is this how you write a diary? I think I'll start writing a diary today to commemorate embarking on the journey with everyone, or something like that. I just want to be able to look back and think, wow, that really happened, and laugh. That's kind of why I like, you know, streaming and archiving all my content. You know, this channel is basically the closest form of a journal or a diary that I have, and it's one of the reasons why I like to talk about stuff that's going on around here a lot of the time. Like, I look back on it and be like, that's what was going on around that time. Only thing is, I have no clue how to write a diary, so it might end up being in my weird style. I can't help it since I've never written one before. Not that it really matters. I don't know if this makes sense as a topic for my first diary entry, but today we talk about weddings. It's already been over a year since we attended Kagari and Notio's amazing ceremony. Who are they? What? A lot of people started talking in private about it, and now more people want to get married. That's nice. I'm positive to talk about. Also, I realized I had a big misunderstanding. Kisara told me about how if you don't catch the bride's bouquet, you can never get married. I'm glad that isn't true. It's not like I care much one way or the other. But I guess it bothered me just a little. Speaking of which, Alpha looked strangely serious at dinner. What's going on? It's not like the food tasted bad. I mean, he got second helpings. Maybe he was thinking up a new dish? Ah, surely. Wow, that really happened and laugh. That's a fantastic line. That's a good way to look on things. Also, it's been a little while since I saved. Probably be doing that from time to time. Oh. Yeah, let's rest. No, I'm fine. I'll cook a midnight meal here. Dark mark. I don't know if I want the dark mark. 7 minutes. Something that's long. HP after battle. Yeah, just cook wiener. I like the little marker on the meat there. Yeah, sure. Earned combat points. This one lasts a while. Increases cooking effect by 30%, but duration is less than half. Right. I don't know. Just do that. It didn't look like it was affecting the time there, but I don't know. But yeah. So there was 2 different characters that got married before this. Staying here, you're always welcome to come back. Okay. Where am I going?